We work for RNIB Northern Ireland. That's the Royal National Institute of Blind People. And what we're doing at the moment is exploring different types of technology in terms of digital technology that can assist blind and partially sighted people. Our organisation traditionally would not have engaged in the use of digital technology, more so just your mainstream Microsoft Office based products and your, I suppose as now would be called, standard JAWS Zoom text type technology. What we're doing here and why we're here today is to talk to people who know a bit about digital technology, because we want to set up a project that is, it shall be called Digital Eye, and what Digital Eye will do is use digital technology to engage blind and partially sighted people in a whole range of both training programs, but also getting them involved, getting blind and partially sighted people involved in creative arts, so writing, video making, producing music, writing apps, also creating podcasts, broadcasting. We also would like to have an international development side of things where we partner with other people, possibly in New York if our trip now it goes well. So we can set up possible international scholarships. And also one of our key meetings this week is to meet with the UN to try and secure match funding to produce a media campaign, so produce audio-visual content using both, well, all types of digital technology we learn to change people's attitudes towards blind and partially sighted people primarily, but actually disabilities in the wider sense. Because as much as projects that we try to set up, such as Digital Eye, until we change people's perspectives, society will not just come along with us because we have what we consider to be a tip-top, super-duper, just brilliant program that we run. It's about changing people's attitudes, which in turn should change how people perceive people with disabilities.
Oh, that's really beautiful. I love that, and I think that's a really, really interesting point. It's like if you change people's ideas about what people with disabilities could do, you can really change the world.
Yeah, it's about making disabilities the norm, as opposed to as we sit here now, someone with a disability is, quote, abnormal, and this is about changing people's perspective so that, you know, if you speak to a blind person, you don't automatically go, oh God, I can't say the word see or watch or things like that. It's about, you know, changing people's attitudes to realise that just because someone has a disability doesn't actually mean they're any different in any sense.
And the attitudinal change thing, I think, if the wider public's attitudes are right, the landscape automatically changes. Some things that are currently happening just stop because they become impossible. But the other bit of attitudinal change is really for blind and partially sighted people in the wider disability community to change the attitudes about themselves and how they project themselves, and the way in which they begin to insist that they get their rights. It doesn't mean they have to turn into, you know, total militants, but I think until people assert that they have rights, the world doesn't come knocking on their door and say, we are the talent police, we demand you come out and have a full and lovely life. It's partly about saying people, encouraging people to say, I actually have an entitlement as a citizen here.
That's right. To let people sort of grow into that feeling that they are equal, and also it also promotes like a feeling of self-confidence, and that people can go out into the world and do all these different things, and that they don't need to be stymied by society's expectations or lack of them, or maybe even their own. And I think that's a really, really valid point.
I mean, that's the other, I mean, talk about going out into the world as yourself. I mean, that's a big aim of what Digital Eye hopes to do, which is to give people the tools so that they can control what they do, and that the horrendous unemployment figure for blind and partially sighted people is eroded into, and it's something, but it's done through the basis of people taking control of their own future and saying, well, do you know what? Actually, if I take the time, if I take 6 months or a year or 18 months to learn how to do something, do you know, I'm not reliant on anyone else. I have it at my fingertips. I have what I need to do to create something to change my life, or to write, or to do whatever I want. So that's a huge part of what we envisage Digital Eye doing, because by making blind and partially sighted people more economically active, it obviously helps the overall economics, but also the mental health and well-being of the person improves, because they're not living in poverty, because essentially, because people are reliant on welfare state to survive and just to eat and heat their homes. It's not a huge and it's not a high quality of life. Therefore, people tend to be more depressed and marginalised. So by creating this platform for blind and partially sighted people to take control of their own futures, the mental health and well-being will run alongside that. So that's a hugely important element of Digital Eye, as far as we're concerned.
It's huge, and it's just by making those changes, like it reverberates in so many different ways all around the planet. Mm-hmm. It's really, really important.
And it's one of the I mean, it could sound that we want to create international projects just because it gives us the jolly of travelling around. But digital technology does make it possible to do really genuine global projects, and for our constituency to have the opportunity to come to New York or to go to Helsinki is an incredibly life-affirming experience, and one that many other people take for granted. And again, just as Thomas was saying there, the underlying well-being of people is so important, because it to the extent that people feel good about themselves and they're not hiding in the corner, the more they increasingly can find their voice, and they more increasingly can make links with other like-minded people. Because it is such a fantastic thing, I think, when people meet other people like themselves who have another experience, but it challenges any internalized stuff they have, where people start to doubt themselves, thinking, oh, is this me? Am I feeling like this? Am I being unreasonable? But when you find a lot of other people going, no, you're not being unreasonable, the world shouldn't mean that you can't cross the street, for goodness sake, you know. So, yada yada.
That's beautifully said. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to say
Go on, Patricia, say something.
I'm okay. I'm okay. Do you maybe want to say something? Do you need to say something about us being here today and what we thought of the session?
Yeah, Thomas, you talk up Barrett College
Thomas,
and say that
yeah.
God's gift, and we love you.
Okay.
You have to do a shameless self-promotion for CCVIP.
No, well, I mean, today, I mean, we've had a number of meetings with various people since we've been here, but when I was doing some research into our trip to New York, the session on Android accessibility was something that we were like, well, we know nothing about this, and it was something that given what we want to create with Digital Eye, it was like, well, there's people who understand what we're trying to do, because we're not tech-minded people. So what we need to do is come to places like Borough College and find the expertise and learn off people. And I mean, we've been here for a number of hours, and we've met some great people before the workshop, and it's clear already that working with CCVIP, we will be able to learn a lot, but also it'll save us having to try and recreate recreate programs that clearly are available, and the expertise are there. I mean, one of the major reasons we're doing this trip is to make links, and as Harry said, not just so we can have a week in New York, as nice as that is, but for example, from now on, I mean, after making connections with people now, if we want to set up a webinar or something, we can. Or if we know, for example, this session was, I mean, it was streamed live today. I mean, that's just fantastic, because, you know, we could sit in our office and learn, and it's now, but you have to make initial contacts with people and make the human contact, and it's been, I mean, I can't say any more than it's been fantastic how we've been treated here, and we really appreciate the welcome everyone's gave us.
Well, we're thrilled that you're here. Thank you so much for coming.